Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm back with another video. Today I just wanted to talk about, probably one of the best significant fights in the heavyweight division, and probably it's got to be a candidate for fight of the year so far. Talking about Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko. This was a really definitely had to be one of the best heavyweight fights in a long time. With significance, definitely one of the ones I can think. I really can't think of any other fight that had this type of significance as well as drama. With drama in the ring, as far as how the fight went, but not so much as drama on the outside, because Klitschko and Joshua they pretty much got along well leading up to the fight. But I'd have to say that this fight did really play out. It played out to be everything that it could have been. Anthony Joshua, he was able to get off the canvas to stop, Wladimir Klitschko in a 11th round, TKO. And like I said, it definitely played out the way it could have been. One, a veteran like Klitschko outboxing a young, experienced champ with only 18 wins, or it could have went the route of a young, determined champ with the power and size and youth advantage. The KO, the superior, but older boxer. Both scenarios were at a tug of war, but like I said, the latter actually happened. Klitschko couldn't hang in the later rounds, and it kind of backfired on Klitschko. His idea was to take Joshua into the deep waters, but yeah, it actually kind of backfired, and he wound up getting stopped. But I actually picked Klitschko by decision, or a late round stoppage over AJ. But like I said, AJ, he was able to stay in the fight long enough, keep his head, and get the knockout that he wanted. The first round, they were kind of trading jabs. Klitschko, you know, uh, he was holding his own with his jab. He was kind of boxing a little bit faster. I had to give that first round to AJ because I thought he did well enough with his jab. And second round, Klitschko, he picked it up more, establishing his jab better, and he was also able to land some pretty good right hands on AJ's chin because AJ wasn't using too much head movement. And three or four, those were more boxing rounds for Klitschko. Not much head movement from Joshua, so it's kind of easy for him to touch that head. But I have to give it to Joshua those first 4 or 5 rounds. First 4 or 5, yeah, he was able to keep it at a smart pace. He was kind of moving slower. You know, not really overexerting himself. He wasn't really overusing his legs yet. Swinging wild. And finally in like the fifth round, he was able to catch Klitschko with a good right hand, and then he was stunned, but it was accumulation that actually dropped him. So, but after Klitschko got back up, he wasn't as hurt as he thought because Klitschko actually kind of came back that round and almost dominated AJ, and AJ looked like he was about to go down himself. And then after that, it looked like he was kind of spent a little bit because in the sixth round, Klitschko he dropped Joshua with one single right hand, and you could tell when he got up from that knockdown that he was still kind of hurt because he was actually hurt a little bit more from Klitschko's knockdown than vice versa, and kind of makes me wonder about AJ's power a little bit because most of his knockdowns were coming from accumulation and not just a solid shot like Klitschko's was. Klitschko, he was boxing a good but kind of sloppy fight at times up to round 10. I think he was winning by 1 point, just off his jab and just off his activeness. But he was just, his hands were down too much, and he was starting to fade a little bit. And I'd have to say that he was really able to take advantage of Joshua's lack of head movement. And I see taking Joshua into deep waters did backfire because Klitschko, he kind of started to slow down, and that's whenever Joshua came out in that 11th round really strong, and it put Klitschko on his bike, and finally he just landed a big uppercut in the center of the ring that, man, that thing looked like it was going to rip Klitschko's head off. And then after that, he followed up by a combination and put him down. And Klitschko, this time he was hurt because when he got back up, he was back on the bike, and Joshua followed up with another combination, dropped him again. Klitschko tried to get back up, another pair right hand, a combination hit him. So the referee just went on to stop the fight, which I think was a good call because I think he was really out of it, and I guess he didn't want to see an older man like that take that much damage. So Overall, I have to say for Joshua, I feel that win or lose, this fight was going to be a learning experience. You know, he was going to get his feet wet and get the feel of what it was like to be in there with a former champion, you know, former champion, future Hall of Famer, you know, in front of 90,000 plus fans, you know, so that's a big learning experience for him. You know, he has a whole country backing him, so the pressure was on him, and you know, I think he really handled it well, and he won the only way he knew how. Because you know, let's be honest, you know, there was no way Joshua was going to win a decision. You know, he can't outbox a boxer who has over 60 wins, and you know, many of them just came off his basic jab and right hand. So we really can't say that Joshua was exposed because we knew he was fresh with 18 fights. You know, he's coming in there limited anyway, so you can't really say he was exposed. He went in there with what he knew how to do, and that's why on the not documentary, but the little face-off show, the gloves are off. You know, Joshua stated that he was going for the knockout. So I know two judges had AJ in the lead, but I think at Klitschko, I think he was ahead by 1 point. But it was so I said it wasn't gonna be easy for him to just keep on going round after round trying to find the knockout. But AJ couldn't risk the decision, so he had to go for what he knows, and AJ proved that he had the warrior heart. So I just feel like he should go back, smooth out the kinks. If he takes some stay busy fights, maybe one or two defenses, get some soft touches just to work on some things, I wouldn't mind that really. I really don't want to see a Klitschko rematch, in all honesty. I just feel like if Klitschko was to win, if the older guy wins, what's the future of the division then? Who else is he going to fight, and risk himself against there? I really don't feel like Klitschko can just fully resurrect himself for this new era now. I just feel like it was just better to be passed on to the next one now because AJ earned it. Whether or not people feel like he has like the tools, he's still learning, and I think he learned well. From here, his next big fight should just be Wilder. I'd like to see him in there with Wilder. Maybe after Wilder takes on Joseph Parker for that unification, him and Wilder can meet by like the end of this year or probably like the beginning of 2018. Because you also got to squeeze in Luis Ortiz somewhere in there because I know Luis Ortiz is supposed to be like a mandatory for the AJ Klitschko winner. So, right now, even without Klitschko, I think that the heavyweight division is starting to pick up. You're starting to have some of the big boys with, some good talent. I think that, Joshua, he really earned this win. I think he'll make a good champion. I like Wilder also. So, that's probably going to be the next biggest fight in the heavyweight division.